Okay, so I've got a question for you. What if you love landscape photography? And I'm betting that you probably do since you're here, but you can't bear the thought of getting up at Sparrow's Farm. Or maybe it's just not practical for you to get that sunrise shot. Or maybe you can't be out there 2 hours from home shooting at sunset because you'd rather spend time with your family or you have other responsibilities. This is something that's plagued me for the last 18 months or so as I've gotten back into landscape photography in a big way since diverting my focus to other things in the years prior. And I found that as much as I love being up at dawn, I absolutely love the crisp morning air, the beginning of a brand new day, mist in the valley, all that sort of stuff. As much as I love that, more often than not, I struggle to get my fat ass out of bed in time to actually drive 2 hours from home and await the dawn. Likewise, too, I've found that of late it's been difficult for me to be out somewhere an hour after the sun goes down just to capture the golden glow of the setting sun or blue hour, which I love, and then come back home and spend the time that I want to spend with my son and my wife. And so I've found myself venturing out at times which to most of us would seem not ideal. In the middle of the day, a couple of hours after sunrise, or a couple of hours before dusk, and taking photos in those conditions. And something I've realised is that I would say the vast majority of us have similar problems. That shooting at dawn, as much as we would love to do it, I mean, I would love to do it every day. As much as we would love to do it, it's just not either practical for us or we're just not capable of it because we're night owls and we like to sleep in, for example. Over the last few years, I've found myself prioritising my family life around everything else. If I look at a hierarchy of needs, for me personally, once the basics are dealt with, food, shelter, a sense of purpose or a sense of being valued, then really the thing that matters most to me is investing time with my family. It's not only good for them, but it's good for me. And so I find that everything else, work, career, and photography, and YouTube, takes a back seat to that. So as much as I've wanted to devote my energies to getting out pre-dawn to wait for the beginning of a new day, to witness the beautiful crisp morning air, which I love so much, and the beginning of the day's bird song, mist in the valley, the stillness of the air, all those sorts of things, I found that it's just not been practical for me. So what I wanted to suggest to you is, if you're having this problem too, and I suspect some of you are, maybe you can approach this a different way, as I've been doing lately. And that is to remember that some of the greatest photographs and some of the greatest photographers that ever lived shot well before the age of digital and before the age of colour. So what did they focus on? Well, like a good movie, like a good book, they focused on story. They focused on composition and the elements in their scene and the elements that they excluded from the scene. They focused on telling a story in the simplest, most unambiguous way that they could. And I think that this can be very, very useful in landscape photography. If we approach a scene focused only on the elements within it, the elements that we choose to leave out of it, the composition, the position of our camera, the lens that we choose, the angle that we shoot from, the story that we're trying to tell, then golden hour, blue hour, soft, warm directional light, all these sorts of things can only augment what we're trying to do. Now, granted, the quality and direction of light does have an impact even in black and white photography. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't mean that opportunities don't exist to shoot in midday sun or to shoot on an overcast day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They do. Whether we're shooting seascapes or woodlands, abstract close-ups, even grand vistas, there are still tremendous opportunities to get photos that we can be proud of, that we can really enjoy, that convey the feeling that we had when we were there experiencing that scene without golden hour, without blue hour. If this is an issue for you, don't get hung up on it. Don't think that you can't get great photos at other times of day. You don't need to be shooting at dawn. You don't need to be shooting at dusk. If your career, your family, your personal responsibilities, or anything else is a priority for you, and that they must take a front seat to your creative endeavors like landscape photography, well then continue to do that and don't worry about that. Those other things matter for a reason. Landscape photography, from where I sit, is a way to slow down, enjoy peace and tranquility in nature. If you go out there each time stressed about getting a specific result because you've been led to believe that if you're to be taken seriously, if you're to become competent as a landscape photographer, that you need to shoot at dawn or at dusk, then you're effectively eliminating the whole reason for getting out there. You're depriving yourself of the pleasure of simply being out in nature, wandering slowly, deliberately, aimlessly, enjoying what you see around you. Get out there, take your time, take photos any time of the day, and just walk around like a kid and photograph what appeals to you. Try it from different angles. Try it with different lenses. Try it from different points of view, up high, down low, that sort of stuff. And just treat it as a meditative exercise, because it's a bit like a story with a book or a movie. When you see a creative work from somebody who genuinely loves where they are, what they're doing, and the story they're trying to tell, it comes through in the end result. And you don't need perfect conditions to do that, to tell a good story, to impart a feeling, to create a timeless piece that reflects how you felt when you experienced that environment. Just go ahead and do it. Enjoy it, take your time, and don't stress about getting up at Sparrow's Fart or abandoning your family because you need to get a sunset shot 2 hours from home. There are more important things in life. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next week. Bye.